Welcome to Worthy of Note, the podcast where one overthinking girly shares her various musings about the world with the world. I'm your host, Lauren Carlton. Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren, as you heard in the intro, and this is Worthy of Note. If you are new here, you probably are not the only one because this is the first episode. So welcome. I'm super excited to get this podcast started. I have actually wanted to start a podcast for probably going on 3 years now, but I just didn't have the time, or I really, that was like the main culprit, because time is money and I'm perpetually broke. So, but yeah, I just didn't have a lot of the time or really the resources either to be able to record. And so now that I do, which resources just mean a plug and play microphone from Amazon, and that's basically it. But now that I have those things, I'm super excited. During my time as a journalism student, a lot of the assignments that I had to do in those like early introductory stages, or classes rather, were very like, they had a lot of audio projects, and I loved that. I ate that up. Like, it was probably one of my favorite parts of kind of learning the craft of journalism and broadcast and visual and, you know, all the different various aspects of storytelling. And podcasting was probably one of my favorite and most probably most interesting units of any class for me personally. I will try my best to find a little excerpt of one of the podcast trailers that I did actually in my J1200 class. If you know, you know. Hello, Columbia. You're listening to Red Cross Cast, the most hematological podcast around. I'm your host, Lauren Carlton, and I've got some good news for you. It's the most wonderful time of the year, homecoming, and to celebrate the festivities, Mizzou is hosting their annual homecoming blood drive sponsored by the Red Cross. Join us next Tuesday at 8 a.m. for the big scoop about the drive, its impact, and so much more. Here's a sneak peek.
It's actually really easy. It takes less than an hour to do. You can save up to 3 lives. It's different than volunteering your hours. It's different than donating your money. It's a unique way to really give back.
Sounds pretty riveting, eh? Well, you definitely won't want to miss it. Again, tune in next Tuesday to Red Cross Cast to hear more. It'll be bloody amazing. I don't know if you can tell how far or how long ago that was, but long ago enough. I was corny then and I'm corny now, but there you go. So yeah, I've really been wanting to do this for a really long time. And so I'm really super grateful that I'm able to actually get that started. Also, another thing that kind of inspired me to start this is I am a serial overthinker. It's like a blessing and a curse, because I think a lot about a lot of the things that I do and a lot of the people. For the most part, I've been pretty like in my head and introspective about a lot of things, which can be great, but then can also suck. All of my anxiety girlies out there, you know what I am talking about. So I tend to overthink a lot. And one thing that's helped me kind of over the last 2 years or so has been just going to my notes app, because a lot of times I'm a writer, J school student here, or J school grad rather, but I have loved writing for a really long time, and one thing that has helped me is like writing out my feelings or writing out like just the random thoughts that I would have for later. I knew I had wanted to do a podcast even before I did this, but I started looking over just the random shit that I would find in my notes app, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just have so many different thoughts, and I've like elaborated. I've written entire think pieces in my notes app. I don't think you understand. So, that being said, I was like, you know what? Why not go ahead and make this a podcast? Because I feel like I always have something to say. I always have a lot of thoughts on things. I talk quite a bit, and I feel like, you know, it would be great to share these things with other people. And I often do with like my friends and stuff, but I was like, why not, put this on the internet? Why not? Because I love to create like an online community, as well as just kind of be able to chronicle things while I am at a certain age and growing. I feel like at a pivotal time, just out of college, still figuring things out, but like not really. Like I know what I want in life, but also like I'm coming into that, which I feel like a lot of people feel after that like weird time when it's like you're out of college and you're not in college anymore, but then you're still college age essentially, and so you're still like young and like not necessarily perceived as like having all your shit together. But yeah, so that was a tangent, but we'll probably be talking a lot about that, honestly. Just a little sneak peek of our future topics. But basically, I just want this to be kind of, I was originally going to name this from the Notes app, but I was like, I don't know. I think just to spread it beyond that, I do think I kind of like merged it together, because a lot of these things that I write down in my Notes app, I think are very important, but then some of it is just like random as hell and just fun to talk about, I feel. So I switched it to worthy of note, because in my eyes, it is worthy of note. Another reason why I wanted to start this is because I do have a YouTube channel, RYNC, that's RYNN, the letter C. I've had it since summer of 2019, so it's going on, it'll be 5 years in like 6 months basically, so it's been like 4.5 years basically that I've had it, and I'm really proud of my ability to be able to post those videos. But I think just this year specifically, life has gotten to a point, like I have posted on it, quite a bit, but not as much as I'd like to, and I think a big part of that is like the timing, and then just the editing as well. Like I have videos that I filmed 2.5, 3 years ago that I have footage from it that I still have not edited, and it's like, girly, we're approaching a new year, a new millennium. Like it is very much it's very difficult to kind of maintain an editing schedule and consistency and stuff like that. But again, I still have love for my YouTube channel, because, it kind of shows my growth and who I was as a person then versus now. And so that's also another reason why I want to do this podcast, is to kind of chronicle my thoughts in like a little bit more of a long form format, but also like have something to look back on, even if it doesn't take off or anything like that. I'm not, doing this for that. I am just wanting to share something that I love doing with other people. And so that's basically what I'm here for. I am planning on doing posts every Saturday, like Saturday morning. So I decided on that because I figured it'd be good for me to kind of like have my Friday nights to, if I need to stay up late editing or anything like that, be able to get that done before Saturdays. And also, I don't know about y'all, but Saturdays or Sundays are like my clean days, like my cleaning days. And I've been getting into podcasts, like listening as like a consumer a lot in like the past 6 months or so. And one of my favorite things to do is like pop on a podcast and like clean my entire apartment. I think it lends a lot to productivity. I don't know why, but it helps. I don't have too much planned for this episode. This is kind of just an intro episode, just to kind of explain what I am planning to do and why I wanted to do this podcast. I'm super excited. But that being said, also, I should definitely mention this. I would like the format of my episodes will probably be, kind of introductory, how things are going, how I'm feeling that day. Obviously, I'd like to know how you guys are feeling as well, so let me know. And then talking about a topic that has either piqued my interest or something that I wrote in my notes app. I would love if we had some audience submissions. I don't have an audience yet, so I'm probably going to replace that with an Am I the Asshole from Reddit, because girly, there's so much where that came from, and Reddit has become one of my most like unhinged activities I love to do. Is just scroll through Reddit and just read about everybody else's tea, because it's very interesting to me. I'm sure half of it probably isn't real, but like, God bless if it is. That's crazy. But yeah, I would love to do Am I the Asshole at the end until we get audience submissions. And even if we don't get audience submissions, I love to hear other people's opinions on, social dynamics and, situations that happen within families, friends, dating, whatever. Speaking of which, I'm going to probably be talking a lot about lifestyle, sociology, social issues, pop culture, all that good stuff. If I could go back to school and get my master's, I would probably do it in sociology, because I was so like invested in all the sociological concepts and dynamics, and I find myself analyzing different situations, like social situations, from that sociological perspective. I just think I could talk about it for literal hours, and I will on this podcast. So that's the bulk of what I'll be talking about. Early 20s sort of content. If that interests you, great. If not, send it to some other early 20-year-old in your life, and hopefully they can benefit from it, because we all out here just struggling, surviving. So with that being said, I am super excited to read my very first Am I the Asshole post. This is going to be New Year's edition. So hopefully, I want to keep it on topic, I want to keep it topical, keep it right, keep it tight. Am I the asshole for last minute declining to go to a friend's wedding that is dry on New Year's Eve? Already have some questions. Already have some thoughts and prayers, but it's fine. Let's continue. My buddy, 33 male, is getting married to a girl that our friend group is not in love with. Ooh, okay. He loves her though, so we support him, as you should. I don't know if she's real bad, and I don't know, that's a different story, but still, let's just continue. Okay. We have known for months this was a New Year's Eve wedding. I RSVP'd yes months ago with my wife. Several friends and I operated under the assumption, you should never assume, that there would be booze at the wedding, especially considering it is on New Year's Eve. Well, I found out yesterday that it is a dry wedding. Turns out it is because of his fiancée and her family. I asked my wife if she knew this, and she said no and was pissed. I texted the groom buddy and asked. He confirmed this. I told him this is something you should have told us a long time ago. I told him that wife and I wouldn't be going. We want to spend the night drinking. I texted the rest of my friends about this, and oh boy, the group chat went off. This led to several more people backing out of the wedding. This is not how a bunch of us expected to spend New Year's Eve. Really, the only ones that didn't back out are the 4 members of our 12-person group that are in the wedding. Groom buddy reached out to me and went off. Pretty much he is now overspending on catering. He is having 20-ish less guests show up than planned, and this is all last minute. I've been called an asshole among other things for leading the charge and people not going to the wedding. Am I the asshole? Yes. I'm sorry. I don't know if that is controversial. Let me break it down. So I think, okay, this is nuanced. I think overall he is the asshole. Original OP is the asshole, but with caveats. Yes, he did just find out like 5 days ago. This was posted 3 days ago. So I'm assuming this is the day that he found out. And it is New Year's Eve right now. It is literally December 31st. So yeah, it would kind of suck that he didn't know until a few days before. Yeah, that would be unfortunate. I think if you're going to have a dry wedding, I would say on the, bride and groom's part, whoever's sending out the announcements, like the wedding announcements or say the dates, whatever. I don't know. Maybe some people see it as like tacky or whatever to put like, whether or not it's a dry wedding on there. But I don't think it is. I think it's perfectly fine. It's literally you are sharing the details, the date, the venue, all of that stuff, what's happening on that. I think it would be prudent to go ahead and put, hey, this is going to be a dry wedding. I want everybody to, be able to celebrate us. But, it is going to be dry. So if that's going to be an issue for you, whatever. You don't even have to say that. You could just be like, this is going to be a dry wedding, period. Because that's what you want. I want more details because are they saying dry wedding as in like you can't bring your own drink? Because if not, like bring your own, BYOB, baby. Like it just makes more sense to do that than to like get literally just call off the entire, like I'm thinking about the bride. Like I feel so bad for her because I'm sure she's probably really stressed because unfortunately most of the wedding planning, even though it's for both parties, like it does predominantly fall on the woman in the relationship to plan all these things. And I'm sure it must be like soul crushing to see all of it collapse like way too close to the wedding to be able to salvage it. So, and especially because of something that's very minor in my opinion. Like, yes, like most weddings, I feel a lot of the weddings that I've seen and I've heard about typically have alcohol there. But then, I don't know, for me, in my perspective, like the weddings that I've been to, I've only been to maybe like 3 or 4 in my lifetime. I love weddings. I think they're so fun. It's always really fun to see the variations between like, the different ceremonies, if there's cultural ceremonies involved, like cultural things involved, like I think that's super fun. But out of the 4 weddings I believe that I've been to, I think only one of them had alcohol, but all of them that I went to were very fun. I think you can still, if drinking is the only way that you can have a good time, I feel like that shouldn't be a deal breaker for you to like enjoy your friend. Like I don't know, or celebrate your friend rather and be there for your friend. I feel like if this was me, I always try to put myself in this position. Like whenever I read these am I the asshole Reddits, and for me, like if this was my really good friend, like, and I didn't really care for the fiance, which I personally don't really think is relevant. Like you can't change that. If you don't like the person that your friend is getting married to, like it's 3 days before the ceremony. I don't really think, like, there are runaway brides, there are, I object, like like I live for that, especially when it's warranted. But I'm pretty sure they're going through with it, so you just have to at one point accept it. You should still be of the mind that like I'm going here and yeah, there's no booze, but I can bring the fun anyway. We are all literally going to be drunk on love and drunk on, the atmosphere of celebrating a union. Like I feel like that's fine. And all, like I said, like all of the weddings that I've been to, all except one were dry weddings because, hello, grew up in mostly Christian spaces. So, and that's not saying that all Christians don't drink, but the ones that I was raised around didn't really, at least at the weddings. And it was fine. Like, we still did, the wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. We still did the Kupi shuffle. Like, we did all the classic dances. Everybody was still, like, really having a good time, meeting everybody, having good food. Like, I personally think, like, now if this was the food, that would be a whole other story. I would be like, I'll just send a gift. I'm sorry. Because, like, I think that's a necessity. Like, when you're inviting people to celebrate you, weddings notoriously and typically need to have at least food and good seating and places for good seating and music. Really, those are like the top three things that a wedding should have. Everything else, the little party favors, the decorations, all that other stuff. Like, I think those are also very important. Whenever I get married, I'm going to definitely have, I want to spend some time on it and stuff like that and put some thought into it. But, like, at the end of the day, like, if you don't have, like, alcohol, that should not be a make or break, And I know a lot of people will probably be like, well, this is on New Year's Eve and stuff like that. But it's like, he says, I told him this is something you should have told us a long time ago. I told him that wife and I wouldn't be going. We want to spend the night drinking. Who says that you can't spend the night drinking? Because you could literally go to the wedding and be like, hey, oh my God, y'all got married. And then leave like after like an hour. Like, say your hellos and goodbyes and go. I think this poster maybe was trying to combine a New Year's Eve celebration and a wedding celebration. And I think that is where they went wrong, because while this wedding is taking place on New Year's Eve, that does not mean that it is celebrating New Year's Eve. It is in celebration of the bride and groom. Whatever that looks like for the bride and groom will take precedence and priority over New Year's Eve. Like, and you already agreed to that when you RSVP'd. So it should be said that if there's not going to be alcohol there, then you still set aside this date to be here. You've still like blocked out that time that I'm going to be at this wedding. And so you're going to be at that wedding. If there's no drinking there, there's no drinking there. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm like super passionate about this, but I just like, if this was my friend, like, I don't know if I could forgive myself for missing out on this super big moment. And like, I've had friends in the past who I really did not like their boyfriends. I was like, girl, you please do better. Do better. But like, if it came down to it, and especially if I was part of the wedding party, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be at that wedding. Like, I will be there. And this is from someone who does enjoy drinking socially, and like, will have a little glass of wine or whatever, with her dinner. Like, I still think that like, you don't need to have alcohol on the premises in order to have a good time. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, and it probably is. I'm sure other people either feel the same or feel different. That's how opinions work. But I think the OP is the asshole in this situation. And yeah, I really hope that I hope that they've changed their mind. I wish there was an update. But hopefully they changed their mind and decided, hey, I'm actually going to support my friend in this situation and in their moment, and then just drink the next day or have a New Year's party. I don't think people I think people underestimate that you can have a New Year's party like December 28th through like January 7th or later probably. People say Happy New Year up until like way past actual New Year's Day. So just like have your party the next weekend after. And also it's 1 year. Come on. So I don't know. I feel like I'm sounding really passionate about this. I think, again, it's the OP's prerogative if they don't want to go, but I do think they would be the asshole in this situation. So that is all I have for you guys today. I'm super excited for the beginning of this new era, my podcasting era. Stay tuned on Saturdays just to see what I come up with. Until then, see y'all later. Bye bye.